Husband bought a house right before he got married, and he did so on purpose. He put it in his sole name. He was the only one on the mortgage, only one on the note, and he paid the note every month. After they got married, about a month after he bought the house, he continued to pay the mortgage on the house note. And he did it out of the funds that he earned at his job.
This was a man who did everything right. And look how he ended up.
So he would get paid every Friday. He would put some money in the bank, and at the end of the month, he would pay his house note. And he did that every month for about, 5 or 6 years. And then his wife filed for divorce.
It can go from being financially stable to bankruptcy.
And after she filed for divorce, she claimed that she was entitled to half the value of that property. Well, here's what the judge did. The judge said, okay, the house was bought for $175,000. It's now worth about $275,000. That's a $100,000 increase. Wife is going to be entitled to one half of that increase, or $50,000. And here's why the judge said that.
Even a prenup protects you from the state taking your money. $50,000 without putting in a single cent. The best deal of all.
The judge reasoned that any money that the husband was making during the marriage was, in fact, marital funds. Any money that the wife made were marital funds. So whatever the husband paid for out of marital funds would become marital property. The real property, the house, transmuted into marital property because the husband used marital funds or marital assets to pay the note on the house every month. And that's why the wife was entitled to one half the increase in value during the marriage.
And tell me, is that fair? No, it isn't. But marriage, even with a prenup, is still a business that benefits women. If you think this is already an injustice, wait until you see the next video where a woman cheats on her husband, gets pregnant by another man, and still sues her ex-husband for child support for someone else's child. So don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and let's keep going.
Is this you with our son?
Yes,
So you did raise him since he
yes,
was a baby, correct?
correct. But he's not my biological son, and you know
And
this.
you may proceed. Okay. Mr. Correa, can you please state your full name for the court?
Francisco Correa Barriga,
And where do you currently reside?
1507 Stone Mesa Drive, Houston, Texas,
And
77073.
how long have you lived there?
For like a year and 6 months.
Okay. And were you living at 1507 Stone Mesa Drive on March 26, 2025?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And where do you work?
I work for Admiral Glass Company.
What are your normal work hours?
My normal work hours are from 5 in the morning to about 5 in the afternoon.
Okay. And on March 26, 2025, what time did you report to work?
I was already on the clock and at work at 5 a.m.
Okay. And you have provided documentation via your time card for that week. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And does that time card reflect you clocking in for work at 5 a.m. on
Yes,
March 26, 2025?
yes, ma'am, and being out at 5 p.m.
Okay, and have you seen the documentation? Well, let me ask you this. Were you at your home? Was it possible for you to be at your home at 7:02 a.m. on March 26, 2025?
No, ma'am, I was already at work since 5 a.m.
Okay, so if a return of service states that you were served on March 26, 2025 at 7:02 a.m. At your residence, would that be accurate?
No, ma'am, I was already at work.
Okay, have you ever personally been served with any court documents in this case?
No, ma'am, I have not.
Were you served with any documents on March 26, 2025?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever seen a citation or petition for this lawsuit prior to June 16, 2025?
No, ma'am. That is the
Okay,
day that I saw it on my emails.
okay, and how many people live at your residence at 1507 Stone Mesa?
There's various family members, male and female, living there.
Okay, and are you aware of anyone at that residence may have mistakenly been served and presented any documents to you of this lawsuit?
Not that I am aware of. No, ma'am.
Okay, how did you first learn that a default judgment had been entered against you in this case?
I was going through my emails and I just happened to see that I had an email from the courts, and that's when I clicked on it and saw the information that was sent to me.
Okay.
Let's set the context. They're married, and there are 2 children. One is his, and the other is not. A lot of people think it's because she was a single mother, but that's not the case. She got pregnant by another man while she was with him. In short, she cheated on him. Now she wants to pin the kid on him. Apparently, this man treated the child well, because the child isn't to blame for what his mother did. But treating a child well is not the same as taking legal responsibility for him. What that woman should do is contact the child's biological father. But that's how some women are. The child belongs to the Chad, and the financial responsibility goes to the fool.
And when you received that order via email, what did you do thereafter?
I immediately started looking for a lawyer to represent and see what action I needed to take to get this resolved.
Okay, did you ever ignore any legal documents or intentionally fail to respond to this lawsuit?
No, ma'am.
And is it your position, had you have been properly served with citation in this petition, what would you have done?
The same thing that I did whenever I found out was immediately seek legal advice and get this resolved accordingly.
Okay, were you trying to avoid participating in this case?
No, not at all.
Okay, now let me ask you, you've seen the default order that was signed in this case, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And are of the children named in the default order, are you the biological father of all of those children?
No, ma'am. There's one of the children that I am not the biological father to.
And which child is that?
Aiden Jeremiah, Korea.
Now, at the time that this child was born, you and the mother were married, correct?
Yes, we were married.
And you're still married, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so though you are the presumed father of this child, is it your testimony that you are not the biological father of this child?
Yes, and both me and Miss Norma are aware of
I'm
it.
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but Ms. Perea is
Okay.
making noises. Also, even though you are at home or you're outside, you are in court. So please treat it like court. Please try to get to a stationary location where you can focus on court and not be moving around and not having side conversations during court.
Yes, I am.
You all didn't reach an agreement, so it's real important that everyone hear what's being said. Obviously, you all care enough that you wanted a hearing, so you have to participate in the hearing fully. I require that. And then also, we generally take testimony in court. So if you are not the person being asked questions, please don't interrupt or answer or roll your eyes. Wait till it's your turn to be asked questions. If you don't have counsel, you will be given a chance to speak as well. And then, isn't that relevant for this? But I'm not with the Attorney General's office, so anything you've discussed with them or given to them beyond what's been done in court, I have no knowledge of, and I'm not supposed to have knowledge of. So just be aware of that as well. And you may continue, Ms. Lewis. And Ms. Freer, you're in a stationary spot now. You are focused and not having a side conversation. Okay, perfect. Let's proceed, Ms. Lewis.
Thank you, Your Honor. Do you believe that it's appropriate for you to be ordered to pay child support for this child?
No, I'm not the biological father, no.
Okay, and what would you request the court to do regarding this child if this judgment is set aside?
I just get removed from the child support. That what's fair.
Okay, and if the court does set aside this default judgment, what do you plan to do as it relates to the marriage?
We would want to file for divorce and do everything the correct way and get what's needed for the children done and do whatever we need to do to make everything right and get the proper documentation and everything done.
Okay, and would you have claims or requests that you would like to make regarding your property and children or marriage if you had the opportunity to present it?
Yes.
Okay, and no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Damani, do you have any questions for Mr. Correa?
Just one question.
Okay.
Look at this woman's attitude. She puts on an indignant face, as if she were the victim. She knows perfectly well that the child is not his, but instead of holding the biological father accountable, she wants to make responsible the man who actually worked hard and helped her. Women can be very calculating. She gets pregnant by a Chad and then wants to pin the child on the beta provider. Apparently, he knew the child wasn't his. A father is the one who fathers the child, not the one who raises him. That's just a story single mothers like to tell. That man does not have to carry the burden of another man's seed. The good thing is that he's standing up for his rights and hired a lawyer. That part is key.
Mr. Korea, looking at the time card details attached to the motion to set aside default judgment, it does not have your name on it.
Okay.
Where did you obtain a copy of that time card detail?
We have an app on the phone where we clock in and out, and you have to click by name to show you the correct details.
And so how can the court be sure that that was your time card?
I'm not sure if I can log into it and you see me click my name and it shows the time card. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up right now if there's a different way of showing the name or anything. Give me 1 second. Yes, there my name should be at the very top of the time card.
So are you doing this on your computer or on the device, the same device that you're using Zoom on?
No, I'm using another device.
Okay.
So I don't know if I can't screen share it, but I can send it to my attorney and then she can send it to you guys. But it does have my name at the very top. It says Korea Francisco Barriga.
If the court would allow it.
I will allow that.
I just have to click back to the date. Give me 1 second.
If you're able to do it on this device, you could screen share what you're doing.
No, I have it on my work phone. Is the one that has the phone application. Okay. Oh, I don't know. I could if y'all can see it on the screen here. It's Francisco Korea, and then you go to details, and then it shows all the dates and times.
Are you able to go a little closer to the camera? I'm not able to see it.
I'm gonna go back to the page where it shows my name, which will be here at the very top.
Oh.
Sorry.
Ms. Damani, were you able to see that?
I'm still not able to see it. I don't know if Judge is able to see it.
Yeah, you're probably looking at the earnings summary. If you look at the blue section on top, it says his name.
Yes, and then I just go to the details for
Ms. Damani?
for the week, and then it shows everything.
Yes, thank you.
Something we can observe is that he's well prepared. That's why having a well-prepared lawyer is so important. In cases like this, your lawyer is like a soldier's rifle in war. You never go into battle unarmed. This is a legal war. Let's continue.
I have no further questions, Judge.
Ms. Korea, do you have any questions you would want Mr. Korea to answer?
Yes. So I thought this was court was about him not getting served, right? But they're bringing up about my son, and I just wanted to
your
show.
questions aren't for me. Your questions are to Mr. Korea. Is this a question for Mr. Korea to answer?
So yes. So
Okay.
my question is this him in the photo with me in the hospital?
That is me, but that doesn't mean he's my biological son.
Okay, hold on. One more question. Is this you with our son?
Yes, I'm not gonna neglect a kid, a good father, just because his father wouldn't step up to the plate. Correct.
So you did raise him since he
Yes,
was a baby, correct?
correct. But he's not my biological son, and you know this.
And did you or did you not tell me that it was going to be your way, that he had no dad, you were the dad, we were married, and this was your
Objection, Your
son?
Honor.
Objection as to
Relevance.
relevant. Oh, sorry, relevance.
I'm going to sustain the objection. All I'm addressing today is whether or not I'm going to grant the new trial. So those issues will definitely be at some point addressed, assuming they pursue their claim. But I'm not ruling on that issue today. Do you have any questions regarding the new trial?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Ms. Lewis, do you have any other witnesses you'd like to call?
No other witnesses, Your Honor.
Ms. Damani, do you have any witnesses you'd like to call?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
Ms. Correa, you do not have an attorney representing you. So if there's anything you'd like to say regarding the new trial, now is your chance to let me know any concerns you might have about it.
Only for the case that he says he did not get served, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, no, I have no other questions. He makes up his own time card, so that's the only thing I have to say.
Well,
It's an app that you have to clock in on site.
Sir, right now, no one has asked you any questions.
Apologize.
Does everybody rest? Does anybody anything further they wish to present?
Rest, Your Honor.
Ms. Damani?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Correa?
Nothing further.
It had been a long time since I'd seen a female judge shut a woman down, and that's a good thing. Many times, they manipulate. Did you see how she started showing photos to claim that he was present? That was an attempt to prove that he was the child's only father. But it's not because she wants him to be the father. It's because she wants his money. If she truly wanted him as a father, she would have stayed with him. But no, she has a child by a Chad and wants the beta provider to carry the entire burden. The ironic part is this. She's married, has a child by another man. She cheated on him. He accepts the child, steps up as a father, and even then she leaves and wants him to pay for her mistake. Responsibility is kryptonite to women.
Women.
Fathers do not have rights to their child. If you're the father of a child who was born out of wedlock, then you really don't have any rights. But there's a way to change that, and here's how you do it. You can either sign the birth certificate, it's called a voluntary acknowledgement of paternity, or you can file a paternity case in court and have the judge declare you to be the father. That way you're the biological and legal father of that child, and that gives you certain rights. The problem is, even though you have rights, you've got to assert those rights. If you don't have a visitation or custody order in place signed by a judge, then you leave the child's mother to determine what your parenting time is. And let me tell you, that can be troublesome because a mom, if you don't pay child support, can simply say, hey, you're not going to see your child until you pay child support. Well, in order to solve that problem, you go to court and you ask the judge to set a parenting schedule. That way you know what your time is, and the mom knows what your time is. That way, if mom violates the order and doesn't give you your parenting time, then she can be held in contempt. But guess what? You could also be held in contempt for not exercising that parenting time. So it works both ways. But that's really the only way you're going to have rights to your child, visitation rights, is to go to court and get an order from the judge.
Child support is a business, one that has ruined the lives of thousands of men in this country and torn families apart. It's a system where the woman always wants more money, and there's no way out until the child becomes an adult. Don't get me wrong. If the child is yours, you must take responsibility. That's not up for debate. What's unfair is that the mother is always favored because paying child support does not give you the same rights. There are thousands of fathers who pay on time and still have their lives made miserable by the mother just to be able to see their children. And she doesn't do it for the child's well-being, but simply because she doesn't want the father to be present. That's why I've always believed there's a special place in hell for those mothers who separate children from their father, knowing he's a responsible man, doing it purely out of envy, resentment, or jealousy. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Should a man be legally responsible for a child who is not biologically his? Who is failing more, the system, the laws, or the people who use them for revenge? If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Your support means a lot to us and motivates us to keep creating more content. Stay tuned for the next video from the wall.